Still on the topic, human rights lawyer Inibehe Effiong is in the studio with us. Still on the same topic. I hope I got the name right.
Inibehe Effiong.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Now, would you say the Senate is turning this issue into a personal vendetta at this rate?
It has been clear from day one. It has been clear from day one that the issue of the leadership of the EFCC is a matter that we have always said that the leadership of the Senate and even the membership of the Senate had a personal interest. That was why we went to court. Because we were thinking, who is the Senate President of Nigeria? Alhaji Abubakar Bukola Saraki. This is someone that is standing trial for corruption before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. What led to his trial at the CCT? He was investigated for false declaration of assets. By who? By the EFCC, led by Magu.
But did you watch, you came in earlier on, did you watch the reports that were played by where Magu himself was indicting the DSS? The DSS said the last time it was a pitch for a nomination. The DSS gave 2 reports, and now again the Senate quoted, Melaya precisely quoted, I think page 14, also paragraph 5 of the same DSS report again. So DSS didn't exonerate itself in this case.
Which DSS report are we talking about?
That's what they quoted.
A report they claimed was submitted last night, according to reports in the media. A report they just submitted in less than 24 hours to his screening. Was he availed a copy of the report prior to his hearing? Could he have properly responded and studied the report under 24 hours? If you genuinely believe Magu is corrupt, why not give him the benefit of doubt?
The judges that were arrested, when they given that same opportunity and respect to go through whatever the findings of the DSS were, the houses were raided.
What was done against the judges that was illegal? There were warrants to search the houses, which was done. Exhibits were found. Some of them have been arraigned in court. It was even the agency who asked them to recuse himself from further proceedings. So I don't know what we are talking about. But beyond this, this is a matter that is pending in court.
All right. Would you say the Senate itself actually did its homework by conducting its own independent investigation? Because what we're seeing is that they're relying solely on this DSS report from day one. So is this constitutional right?
The Senate has not conducted any investigation on the matter. It has not. Section 88, 89 of the Constitution give the Senate investigative powers. They have not exercised it. I stand to be corrected. Magu has not been invited by any committee of the Senate to respond to the purported allegations against him. Neither has the DSS. If you are talking about fair hearing for Saraki, you can also talk about it for Magu. Because, and this is insulting, that the president of the country nominated somebody for the position of EFCC chairman. The president is the appointing authority under Section 2 of the EFCC Act. And the president has the final say on the legibility of whoever occupies that office. The president says he is qualified.
But the DSS reports to the presidency. The DSS reports to the presidency, don't they?
We are getting to that.
Yes.
The DSS is an agency under the president. And this is where President Buhari must answer and give Nigerians cogent explanation for what has happened today. Because it's a slap on every right-thinking person in this country.
All right. Now, constitutionally, what options is left for Mr. President if he insists on Magu being the EFCC chairman?
There are 2 issues arising from what has happened today. The first is that, like I had said, there's a matter pending in court. The case of Raji Rashid Oyewumi against Senator Bukola Saraki and 14 others, where I am the counsel to the plaintiff. We are asking that Saraki should be disqualified from taking part in the confirmation of Magu because of conflict of interest, which is contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. Justice Binta Yako granted us the leave to serve Saraki and other members of the Senate the process of the court. The law is that once you are aware of the pendency of a suit, the doctrine of this pendency says, don't take any action.
All right.
That will render the process of the court nugatory. But Magu still remains the acting chairman of the EFCC.
But the EFCC Act does not recognize an acting chairman. The EFCC Act does not recognize an acting chairman.
The question is, is there a law that recognizes it? The answer is yes.
All right, we'll take you up on that a little later. We have to take this topic.
Renomination of the acting boss of the EFCC, Magu, has been rejected again by the Senate. Our correspondent in Abuja, Doshima Abo, is standing by now to bring us up to speed. Doshima, glad to have you back. Your audio is better now. So can you just tell us exactly what happened today at the floor of the Nigerian Senate?
Well, the legislative day started with the hope that both the customs boss as well as the EFCC chairman will appear before the Senate. While the customs boss didn't show up, the EFCC chairman, acting chairman, came and for screening. He was armed, well armed with what to say, and also the senators were armed with probing questions, asking him very, very intense questions at the floor of the Senate, which he was able to answer some of the questions. Now, most of the questions bordered on his integrity, which the senators said that they got a report from the DSS accusing him of lacking integrity to run the organization, but which he says that he's got, which he actually spoke very clearly that he's not been called by either the DSS to answer to some of the accusations raised in the letter. And also he said that by not giving him that opportunity, it means that it's a witch hunt because the DSS has denied him his constitutional right to respond to some of those questions. But the tide turned when Dino Melaye insisted that he wasn't qualified, which was unanimously endorsed by other senators, except for some other senators who think that he should be given another chance. But what we saw played out at the floor of the Senate is the fact that the politics had been laid, the horse trading has been made, the politics had been played, and it was obvious that he wasn't going to skate through the screening.
All right.
Many of them raised concerns about the EFCC not responding to or not respecting court orders, and some of these
All right,
issues.
Doshima.
Thanks for your updates there. We still have with us in the studio Effiong, the human rights lawyer, and we're talking about the place of the acting chairman in the EFCC Act. Is that recognized?
It is. It's recognized. Not just for the EFCC, but for all agencies of government. Section 11 of the Interpretation Act clearly states that where a law empowers the president or any other appointing authority to make appointments in substantive or permanent capacity, that person also has the power to make appointment in acting capacity. And that this has been happening since return to democracy. Is not new. Even in INEC and other agencies, on the tenure of acting chairmanship, the law clearly left it for the appointing authority to determine. It's based on the expediency of the appointing authority. But my argument has been that by virtue of Section 3 of the EFCC Act, which limits the tenure of a substantive chairman to 4 years, that Marco cannot remain as the acting chairman up to 4 years. But pending when it is up to 4 years, it is left for the president to determine whether it is still expedient for him to continue to remain in office or not. And I said there is no contrary argument to that.
Right. While at the floor,
you were going to. I was going to ask you about how long he can actually act as the EFCC chairman. But by his activities, is it grounded by law? You know, if he makes arrest, if he has to do some prosecution and everything, how effective will that be by law?
He has all the powers of the substantive chairman. So it is not like having an acting president.
Irrespective of their, interactions at the Senate.
No, what the Senate has done today only relates to his nomination for substantive chairmanship, which the Senate has rejected.
We have to wrap up this interview now, but quickly. Today he was also asked at the floor if he knew how much has been recovered under him, the loots recovered under him, and he said he doesn't have the fact. What does that say?
That is worrisome. We have to be sincere about. I have even had cause to ask that there should be more transparency in the fund that has been recovered by the federal government. But that is a different issue entirely. And concluding on this, Nigerians need to note that there is a pending suit on this matter. And the Supreme Court decided in Amechi and INEC that by the doctrine of least pendants, when a party is aware of the pendency of a suit, even when there is no specific restraining order by way of an injunction, that you shouldn't take any action to put the court in a state of helplessness.
All right, that's an angle.
What the Senate has done today.
Okay, that's an angle to that. The other angle that we didn't have time to look at is Magu himself, the person of Magu and EFCC under Magu for the period that it has been. We'll leave it there. Many thanks for your time and your thoughts on TVC News Hour.
My pleasure
today.
speaking with you.
We appreciate that.